from Seoul all the way to Manila Korean dramas, they've really taken the world by storm.
Yeah, they really have.
And today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into their impact on the Philippines.
That sounds fascinating.
We're going to be using the Wikipedia article, South Korean Television Dramas in the Philippines, as our guide.
Okay, cool.
But this isn't just about entertainment, you know?
Right.
We're going to be looking at how a foreign media product can have such a deep impact and become ingrained in another country's culture.
It's really a fascinating look at cultural exchange.
Yeah.
And maybe even more interesting to look at why this particular exchange, Korean dramas in the Philippines has been so successful.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning then.
Okay.
The Wikipedia article mentions the successful story of a bright girl as the first Korean drama to air in the Philippines. And this was all the way back in 2003.
Wow.
So was that like the spark that lit this whole fire?
I mean, it definitely played a role.
Yeah.
But I think the Filipino dubbing was really key in those early days. It removed that language barrier and really opened those stories up to a much larger audience.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But do you think that the dubbing alone explains the immediate success of those early dramas? Like Autumn in My Heart, Stairway to Heaven, and Full House, all on GMA Network?
Right.
Like, were Filipinos just hungry for something new, or was there something more to it?
Well, you have to remember those early dramas were really melodramatic.
Okay.
Packed with heightened emotions and all those dramatic plot twists.
Yeah.
And, that might not appeal to everyone, but it really seems to have resonated with Filipino viewers.
Right.
I mean, even Jose Mari Abacan, the head of acquisition at GMA,
Okay.
he said that Filipinos love Korean dramas because they can relate to the stories.
So maybe it's not just novelty then,
Right.
but like a shared emotional landscape.
Yeah.
I mean, on the surface, the cultures seem very different, but maybe there are deeper connections at play here.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
A lot of Asian cultures actually share core values, like family respect and overcoming adversity.
Right.
And those themes are often central to a lot of Korean dramas.
Yeah.
So maybe Filipino viewers were seeing reflections of their own values and experiences in these stories, even if the setting and some of the cultural nuances were different.
So it wasn't just a fluke.
Right.
There was something about those early Korean dramas that really tapped into something deeper in the Filipino audience.
Yeah, I think so.
But GMA wasn't the only network to catch on, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
ABS-CBN jumped on board pretty quickly, too.
Yeah, they saw the success of Boys Over Flowers,
Okay.
which was a Korean adaptation of Meteor Garden.
Right.
And it showed them that there was a real appetite for this kind of content.
For sure.
Even Evelyn Raimundo, the head of integrated acquisition at ABS-CBN,
Okay.
she pointed out the different style of storytelling that Korean dramas offered.
So were they trying to appeal to viewers who were maybe looking for something a little different?
Possibly, yeah.
Different from the traditional Filipino teleseries?
It could have been a way to capture a new segment of the audience.
Right.
And, it wasn't just ABS-CBN, even TV5.
Okay.
They tried to shake things up a bit.
Okay.
And they used Korean dramas to go up against those super popular noontime variety shows.
So all three major networks vying for a piece of that Korean drama pie?
Yeah, it sounds like a recipe for some serious competition.
How did their strategies differ then?
Well, GMA seemed to go with the more is more approach.
Okay.
They just aired a ton of dramas.
Okay.
And racked up hit after hit.
Yeah.
Think Winter Sonata, Jewel in the Palace.
Right.
These were huge cultural events.
For sure.
And even more recent ones like Sky Castle and The Penthouse.
It sounds like they really tapped into what Filipino viewers wanted.
Exactly.
And just kept delivering more of it.
Yeah, but while GMA focused on quantity, ABS-CBN seemed to be a little more selective.
Okay.
They seemed to curate a lineup that appealed to certain tastes
Hmm.
within that broader Korean drama fandom.
Okay.
They had hits like Lovers in Paris and My Girl.
Right.
But they also ventured into different genres, like with the fantasy drama Goblin and Hotel de Luna, which was visually stunning.
So a little bit more niche, maybe?
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
Targeting those specific demographics within the fan base.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that even Net25, which is a network known for religious programming,
Right.
they even got in on the action.
Wow.
They aired dramas like The Snow Queen and Class 7 Civil Servant.
So clearly the appeal of these Korean dramas went beyond those traditional network boundaries.
Yeah, for sure.
So we've gone from that single dubbed drama in 2003
Right.
to multiple networks airing a variety of Korean dramas across different genres.
Yeah, pretty remarkable.
It's clear that this is way bigger than just some passing fad.
Right.
But is it just about entertainment? We see politicians and even President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
Right.
acknowledging the significant role that Korean dramas and culture play in the lives of Filipinos.
That's where it gets really interesting, because it suggests that there's something beyond just entertainment going on here.
Right.
It's almost like
Yeah.
it's about cultural influence.
Okay.
It's about this soft power where cultural products like dramas can shape perceptions and foster connections between countries.
So it's not just about escaping into a good story then.
Right.
It's about building these bridges between cultures.
Yeah,
Sparking conversations and maybe even challenging some of our preconceived notions.
precisely.
Wow.
And that's what makes this phenomenon so compelling.
Yeah.
It's about entertainment, but it's also about this cultural exchange and influence.
Right.
It's about the power of storytelling to connect us across borders.
It really is amazing.
It is.
And speaking of connections.
Yeah. It's pretty amazing to think about how these dramas from Korea have become such a big part of life in the Philippines.
Yeah, it really does go beyond just watching the shows.
Right.
Korean restaurants are everywhere. K-pop dance classes are packed. And even learning Korean is super trendy now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Have you noticed that too?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It speaks to the Philippines' history of embracing and adapting these global influences. Think about the Spanish colonial influence or all the American pop culture that's everywhere.
Yeah.
Filipinos have always had a way of weaving those different cultural threads into something uniquely their own.
So are you saying Korean dramas are just the latest chapter in that cultural fusion?
Exactly.
Okay.
I think that's one of the reasons why this cultural exchange has been so successful.
Okay.
The Philippines is open to these new influences.
Right.
And then in turn, they shape how those Korean dramas are experienced and even how they're interpreted within that Filipino context.
So it's not just a one-way street.
No, not at all.
It's more like a dynamic interaction where both cultures are influencing each other.
Precisely.
That's really cool.
But we can't forget about the dramas themselves.
Right.
What is it about those stories that has made them so popular with Filipinos?
Well, for one, they're really good at emotional storytelling.
Yeah.
They tap into those universal themes, love, loss, family, ambition.
Right.
But they do it with this intensity and this dramatic flair that's just captivating.
You're right. They're not afraid to get into the full range of human emotions.
Yeah.
The highs and lows, all the tears and laughter. And it feels really authentic and relatable.
And you can't forget about the visual aspect.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The cinematography, the set design, the fashion.
Yeah, it's all so well done.
It's immersive.
It's like you're stepping into this whole other world.
Right.
And even if it's just on your TV screen.
Yeah.
And the music.
Oh, yeah.
The Korean drama soundtracks. Those OSTs are so good.
They are.
They add this whole other layer of emotion to the storytelling.
Those melodies get stuck in your head.
I know.
They bring back all those feelings.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not all romance and melodrama.
Right.
Korean dramas also often tackle social issues.
Yeah.
And sometimes in a really bold way.
That's a good observation.
Yeah.
They have been surprisingly progressive in addressing topics like mental health, gender roles, class inequality, even political corruption.
It's like they're using entertainment to get people talking about important issues.
Yeah.
To challenge those societal norms.
For sure.
Do you think that resonates with Filipinos?
I think it does.
Yeah.
These are universal issues that go beyond culture.
Right.
But seeing them within the context of Korean society can give Filipino viewers a new perspective, a new way of thinking about these things.
So it's not just entertainment then.
Yeah.
It's about giving different viewpoints and prompting reflection.
And maybe even inspiring change.
Exactly.
And that's what's so cool about this whole phenomenon.
Yeah.
It goes way beyond entertainment.
Right.
It touches on questions of identity, values, and how we see ourselves in the world.
So if the past is any indication,
Yeah.
the future looks really bright for Korean dramas in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
What do you think is next?
Well, if the past is any indication, the future looks amazing.
Okay.
The popularity of Korean dramas isn't going anywhere.
Right.
And the cultural exchange between the two countries seems to be getting stronger.
Yeah.
As new platforms come out and technology changes, I think we'll see even more collaborations and innovative storytelling.
Cool.
And of course, even more passionate fans.
That's really exciting to think about.
It is.
But before we go too far,
Yeah.
let's take a step back and think about the bigger picture. Because
Like what?
ultimately, this is a story that goes beyond just entertainment.
You're right. This story of Korean dramas in the Philippines shows how powerful human connection can be. And the desire for shared experiences.
Yeah,
And the fact that stories can cross borders.
they really can.
It's amazing.
So we've looked at the history and the cultural impact, even the emotional pull of these Korean dramas in the Philippines.
We have.
But before we finish up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what does it all mean, like, in the big picture? Is there something our listener can take away besides Korean dramas are popular?
Well, what's really interesting here is that this goes way beyond just one country enjoying another country's TV shows.
Hmm.
It shows us how globalization works when it comes to entertainment.
Okay.
And it's not just a one-way street.
Right. We've been talking about how Filipinos have always mixed cultures together.
Exactly. They're not just watching these dramas.
Right.
They're really engaging with them, talking about them, even creating their own communities around them.
Yeah.
They're even putting Korean elements into their own creative stuff.
It's like that back and forth adds another layer to this whole idea of globalization.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about stuff being bought and sold anymore.
Right.
It's about ideas and culture moving around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it makes us think differently about cultural boundaries.
Okay.
It's not as simple as just saying this is Korean and this is Filipino.
Yeah.
It's all way more fluid and connected than that.
So this Korean drama thing is really just a small example of a much bigger trend.
It is.
And for our listener, it's like a case study in how to understand and engage with other cultures.
Exactly. It shows how important curiosity and open-mindedness are, and seeing the value in different perspectives.
It's been really amazing looking into this world of Korean dramas in the Philippines.
It has.
And to you listening, if you've never seen a Korean drama,
Yeah.
maybe this has made you a little curious.
You might be surprised by what you find.
Yeah.
Not just about Korean culture, but about yourself
Oh, right.
and where you fit in this crazy, interconnected world.
That's a good point.
There's so many stories out there just waiting to be discovered.
So keep diving deep, keep those brains buzzing, and until next time, keep exploring,